am doing a fast and quick book haul because I feel like it. So I guess first I'll go through the boxes. First I have my Aardvark, what month are we in? April box. And I picked Love Galaxy by Sierra Branham. This is a reality romance dating show, but sci-fi. So I am quite excited for this. I do love the blue and the purple, and that is reflected in the color of the book. Next is my broken binding box. We are still in the middle of a trilogy, so this is book 2, and it's going to be the second book in the Silo trilogy. The first book was Wool. Ooh, there's a bookmark! Whoa! Ooh, and it's actually pretty nice cardboard, celebrating 5 years bookmark. Very nice gold foil. Very nice. That's so nice. And here is their wrapping paper and Silo. I still know nothing about the Silo series, haven't read Wool or anything yet. It is on my list to get to, so this is Shift, book 2 in the Wool series. So here are the edges. The edges aren't doing much for me. I think depending on how Wool goes, I may sell the set when I get to it. Here is, okay, so here's the front wraparound cover coming to the back. It is signed by Hugh Howey. Here is that. It's very, what's the word? It's not cloth, it's not textured or anything like that. So the order, whatever that means. Here are the end papers. Oh, pretty. That's pretty. That's those end papers. It's so fresh and like bound. Okay. It has a blue bookmark tag and you can see it like right there. So, Shift by Hugh Howey. All right, next, I got my copy of Nobody's Baby by Olivia Waite. This is book 2 in the Dorothy Gentleman murder mystery series. So I haven't read it yet. Nothing super exciting about this. I did buy it in hardcover right away because I do love this series, but $24.99 is absurd for a novella. I remember 4 years ago, this would have been $18. Like, this is absurd, but I got it. Okay, then speaking of sci-fi mysteries and my whole love for like sci-fi mysteries set on spaceships, etc., I picked up 6 Wakes by Mur Lafferty, which is on that list. It's one I haven't read yet, so I want to read it, and I am going to make a video about that, you know, niche subgenre I love, so I grabbed this to read it and be informed when I make that video. Then The Goblin Emperor by Katherine Addison. This is going to be on my r/fantasy subreddit bingo, and then also it is part of my Discord book club. We are reading this, so I have been aware of this for a very long time. I actually kind of wanted to get the mass market paperback that has the like goblin on the cover, but I couldn't really find it. I may keep an eye out at like used bookstores because I love a mass market. I'm sad that they're phasing them out and they're not selling them anymore, but you know, capitalism, whatever. Goblin Emperor. Then it was my birthday recently, and my father-in-law did get me a shirt for my birthday. It was very cute. It's a Saja Boy shirt, but we got to talking, and he is actually the one who really pushed Dungeon Crawler Carl on me and my husband, and so I picked it up really quickly and I loved it. He like blasted through it, and we told him about Murderbot, he told us about Dungeon Crawler Carl, and then he started saying that he was reading another Matt Dinniman book, Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, and we talked about how much he was enjoying it. And then like literally 2 days later, an Amazon package showed up, and here was this thick ass tome on my doorstep. So Kaiju Battlefield Surgeon, a gift from my father-in-law. And we, he wasn't aware that Operation Bounce House had come out, so he was very happy to hear that he had yet another Matt Dinniman to read. So, don't know when I'm gonna get to this, but this looks absolutely flippin' ridiculous. I love it. Okay, next I have The Cloud Roads by Martha Wells. So this is one of Martha Wells' older fantasy novels that is being re-released. So this one I'm going to read for r/fantasy bingo, and I think actually, you know what? I got this for the non-human protagonist square, but I just fucking read Automatic Noodle, which is gonna count for that. So I think I think what I'm gonna do is I can always move this to the food square, make some ramen. I'm not gonna make some byung byung noodles for this, make some ramen for hard mode, and that'll count. So I can always move this to the food square and then read this and still have it count for the non-human protagonist square. But I have wanted to go back and read Martha Wells' older works, her fantasy works, as they're starting to be re-released. So still happy I got it. And then lastly, I haven't read it yet, which I'm gonna get to it, but This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me. The new Ilona Andrews. It's an isekai, which I love. This book is gorgeous. Look at that blue. Oh my god. So I am so excited for this. This is the first in their new fantasy series, Maggie the Undying. And it's just, I'm so excited. I love isekai in a manga format. And so I'm very excited. Ilona Andrews, their writing just works for my brain. I love them. And I'm very excited to dive into this. I do need, like, we're still very busy. We were so busy in February, so busy in March. This came out March 31st, I think. And it's just been still nonstop busy. Even though I took a 4-day weekend for my birthday at the beginning of April, I still didn't have like as much time to read as I thought I did. Even though I did a full ass beach day, I didn't actually do much reading on the beach. So I haven't dug into this yet. Don't know when I'm gonna dive into it, but I know when I do, that's it. It's gonna be over. We're gonna knock this out in like one day. I can feel it. So here are the beautiful, beautiful blue sprayed edges. Here is the cover. It says book 1, Maggie the Undying. Please ignore how grown out my nails are. I need to get to my nail tech soon. And yeah, and it's floppy. It's nice and floppy. We love that. Look at how flat that lays. Beautiful. Anyways, this is a crown jewel of what I've bought so far in the last couple of weeks. Don't know how good the audio is gonna be. I'm sweaty, my hair's a mess. I just had lunch for a taco truck. $15 for 2 pupusas is not bad. I was expecting a lot more. Diet Coke. Stephen Graham Jones is in about 10 minutes, so I'm just sitting here in the shade in a relatively quiet spot before I go over there. So yeah, it's going good. Okay, finished up Stephen Graham Jones. I am hot and overstimulated and I want to go home, so I'm going home. thought I would last longer at the LA Festival of Books, but I always look at the weather, and today I did not, so I was not prepared for how hot it was. And I did get a little overheated, came home, cooled down. I am still a little warm, so I am leaving my fan on. I think it's quiet enough that it's not gonna be too much of an effect. And so my last video whatever in the grand scheme of when I'm posting this vlog, it is the next weekend from last weekend when my husband was DMing a D&D one-shot. Today he is having a one-shot done for his birthday that our other friend is DMing. His birthday's tomorrow. So I'm gonna go through everything that I got at the LA Festival of Books. Let's talk about it. Okay, first, I bought this official merch from the LA Festival of Books. It's a really, really cute tote bag. It holds everything that I got today. And let me see if I can just a glance at everything I bought today. One of these books I brought with me. One book I brought with me. Everything else I bought today. Okay, so kind of in order. So the main reason I went is for book signings and also just the whole fun of it, but I always check out Mysterious Galaxy Bookstore. They are a bookstore in San Diego, and I would love to go and make them my local bookstore, but San Diego's a little too far for me to go on a regular basis. But they always have great signings. This year, there weren't as many authors that were interesting to me, but Stephen Graham Jones was one. So that was the main thing that I wanted. I'm not going tomorrow on Sunday because tomorrow's my husband's birthday, so we're spending time together. So basically planned my day around Stephen Graham Jones. Had to show up at 10 a.m. at the booth to get a ticket for his signing. That was a success. And then came back for his signing at 12:30. And the ticket was great because I showed up at 12:30 and they had staggered, your times on your ticket, and I ended up being like second to last in line, but still got it signed. I did buy a few things in Mysterious Galaxy. So first, some stuff from them. So this book sleeve that says read more books. It is in purple. I love this so much. I'm in love. It has a little button here. And I believe maybe it's big enough to fit this hardcover. So, but I've been wanting a little bit of a bigger book sleeve for like my bigger hardcovers and stuff. So that's great. I also got this magnet that says on my way to buy another trinket, which is so me. You guys have not seen my desk either at work or here at home. I got some trinkets, so I thought this was so funny, so I grabbed it immediately. I picked up T. Kingfisher Snake Eater. This one came out late last year, I think. So in terms of like the most recent ones that have been coming out, this is one that's been more up my alley. Wolfworm, I know it's just the whole vibe is not my thing, but Snake Eater definitely is. This feels like it's more in line with A House with Good Bones, which I loved, so I am excited to read this. I did try to start reading it on the train back home, but I was just so mentally I just had to put music on and zone out for the entire train ride home. So Snake Eater, and then 2 Stephen Graham Jones. One. So this one I brought from home. This is my aardvark copy of the Buffalo Hunter. So, and then I bought this paperback of The Angel of Indian Lake. Yes, I have it in hardcover, but I didn't bring it with me, and also I have the other 2 paperbacks for the series, and I kind of want them to match, so I'm just gonna sell my hardcover on Pango or something. But these were the 2 that he signed. It was so cool meeting him. We could get 1 personalized and 1 just regular signed for a total of 3 books. So here is what he did for The Angel of Indian Lake. So he did a signature, and he had stamps, so he did a chainsaw. I love it. I love it so much. He was so cool to talk to, just really good vibes. And I was just like blathering on about like how much my husband loved the Buffalo Hunter. This was Jordan's first Stephen Graham Jones book. He loved it a lot. Like he says he still thinks about the ending. So I need to read this. But it's Jordan's birthday tomorrow. So Jordan knew I was going to go, and I sent him like the staff did pictures, they did pictures for everybody if you wanted like a few like candid shots of you talking to him. So I sent Jordan pictures. Jordan doesn't know. He doesn't know yet that I told Stephen Graham Jones how much he loved it and that it was his birthday, and so it was made out to him. Jordan, to have had those teeth in 1870, and then the stamp. And then I told him, he was like, do you want me to write happy birthday? And I was like, yes, please. So I'm so excited to give this to Jordan later after his D&D session is done. So he knows that we're getting this signed. He does not know that I have it personalized and saying happy birthday to him. So I'm very excited for that. There was a little section where someone had just put ARCs out and they were just sitting there, and it looked like they were just for anybody to pick up and take, because what do you mean an ARC of City of Stairs by Robert Jackson Bennett? What do you mean? What do you mean? I read this book when it came out. Like, I love this book. I love Robert Jackson Bennett. I am loving the Anna and Din series. I loved Foundry Side. I still have not finished this trilogy, but I did reread City of Stairs last year or the year before, and it was just as good as the first time I read it. It's like, what the fuck do you mean there was just an arc of City of Stairs lying around for someone to pick up? So I picked it up. I was just like, what? Okay, here we go. Here we are. Okay, then just some fun book stuff. There were a lot of really, really cool small businesses there. I couldn't buy from everybody. I should not have bought from everybody. So I did stop at Opal in June. I'll link as many people down in the description that I can. So I did buy this bookmark. It says, "Van going to read a book later today." I found that adorable. It's blurry, but you know, you get the idea. It's very cute. Then I bought this sticker. It says, "Reading is my favorite sport." Hello, can you please? Let's see. There we go. I think that's in focus. And then just their store sticker. So Opal in June, very cute. I did stop by a booth. This is a pop-up book truck. Their name is The Floria. They go all around SoCal. So just got a bookmark from them. Very cute. After I picked up the Mysterious Galaxy books in my ticket in the morning, I walked by the booth for the Wild Sisters Book Company. They are actually in Sacramento. So that felt wrong. They're in Sacramento. So they had a lot of cool stuff, and Rachel Housel Hall was signing. So I picked up a copy of the last one. And why is this so... Okay, I don't know how long that was out of focus. I'm so sorry. I picked up a copy of the last one real quick and had her sign it, and she was really, really cool. This is really cool. Oh, what fell out? Oh, another bookmark. She was really cool to talk to really briefly, because the line was really short. This is, I think she usually wrote like mystery thrillers, and this was like her first like romantasy foray. So I am very interested in getting into this. Ooh, I hope my head does not look too much like a potato. You know, I got a tan from the beach a couple weeks ago, so I'm looking less pumpkin-like, so that's nice. And 2 bookmarks, 1 for each book. I could not justify buying the second hardcover too, just to have her sign it when I haven't even read it. I walked by the, what are they called? The Literature Translation Institute of Korea. I actually do have a Libby card with them, because you can sign up for their library online. So a lot of the times I will get a lot of Korean translated work from Libby on there. And they had a booth, and I was walking by, and they had 2 people actually, who would write your name in calligraphy in Hangul. So here is my name upside down. Here is my name in Hangul. So Shan Da Ar. Shantaru. So that was really cool. Do I have a little thing on here? I did also like drop it on the floor when I was like trying to juggle a bunch of stuff. So I love this. I need to figure out where to put it. It's so pretty. I just love it. And I was also curious how they would put my name in Hangul. So it's really cool. So yeah, that's my name in Hangul. And as I was glancing through all the books, someone at the booth recommended this. This is Love in the Big City by Sang Young Pak. So this is actually longlisted for the 2022 International Booker Prize. I did not know. They told me that this is made into a movie. I think it's on Netflix apparently. And this is the story of a gay man searching for his happiness in the lonely city of Seoul. So I was like, sold. So I bought it, and after I bought it, the guy, he came over like to me at the register, and he was like, "Here's a gift for you." So he gave me this bookmark. And yes, this is the hat that the bird in K-pop Demon Hunters wears, and that the Saja boys wear. So yeah, it's really, really beautiful. A little bit of a mess here, but that is that is my LA Festival Books haul. I gotta put shit away and then I'm just gonna relax, and I have a nail appointment later, but I'm gonna relax and stay cool and drink a lot of ice water. It is 12:30 on Saturday, Independent Bookstore Day, and part of the LA yarn crawl, and I'm exhausted. I have one more bookstore and one more yarn shop to hit, and then I'll be done. I've spent way too much money. Let's look at everything I bought today. All right, I did a combo Indie Bookstore Day and LA Yarn Crawl. The LA Yarn Crawl technically lasted from Thursday and going through tomorrow, Sunday, but I can't do anything Thursday, Friday. Saturday's Indie Bookstore Day. I didn't want to do like a lot of stuff on both days, so I just kind of was like, okay, we're consolidating. And as much as I would have loved to hit more yarn stores, there were only 3 in a radius that made sense for me. And as much as I would love to hit a lot of the LA stuff, a lot of it was like, I want to say like West Los Angeles, and then going down to like Long Beach and stuff like that. So I did hit 1, 2, 3 yarn stores, and I hit 1, 2, 3, 4 bookstores. So let's go in order. First, for the yarn crawl, this is the tote you could buy, and it has the list of all the yarn stores along the outside. It's very cute. Each store had their own button, and the button has the name of the store and LA Yarn Crawl 2026. I only have 2 on here because as I was moving my third stuff from a bag into here, my button jingle jangled and I lost it in the crevices of my car. So I may find it, I may not. But so these are the stores I visited. I visited Buku Yarns, I visited Wool House, and I visited Phoebe's Needle Art. So, cute yarn bag. We're just gonna go chronological order because that's easiest. So first from Buku Yarns, I bought Buku Yarns. This is their hand-dyed superwash merino, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. This is called Buku Love. It is a really cool blues and pinks and a little bit of green in there. So there's that one. And then there is someone called Magic Land Yarns. They do Disney inspired yarns. So this one is just called Golden Afternoon, but this is their Dreamy DK. It's 100% superwash merino. So this is just like lots of like pinks and oranges and some purple in there. I just loved it. They had a lot more that I really wanted to buy, but I was limiting myself to an idea, which I will explain in a bit. Next I hit Judging by the Cover Books in San Dimas. This is the special edition, cute little sprayed edges edition of Howl's Moving Castle, which I have always wanted to read. So I bought this from them. Got some bookmarks. There's a raffle. Let's see what bookmarks I got. So this is their Judging by the Cover Bookstore Day bookmark. And this is a bookmark. This is so cute. This is like a book review bookmark. This is from a local person, nakaya.com. I'm gonna put links to everything I can down in the description box. So this is so cute. I really, really like this. So I will use this for my howl. And then, oh, she gave me 2 bookmarks. Oh, they have different stuff in the back. So this is cute. I was sent from the future to save a place in your book. And I read banned books. Lots of bookmarks. And a raffle. We'll see if I win. I don't know. Okay, next, after that, I went out to Pasadena, Vroman's Bookstore and Wool House Yarns. They're literally right across the street from each other, which is perfect. So I hit Vroman's Bookstore first, and I got The Language of Liars by S.L. Huang. I really liked, I always forget the name of the fucking book. It's their historical Chinese feminist book. I always forget it. I really liked it. Here's the cover because I will not remember what the name of the book is. So this is their new sci-fi novella. It is like a linguist novella, love letter to language. I remember when I was doing a upcoming books, anticipated books for 2026, I could not make heads or tails of the blurb, and I am fine with that. I am very excited to read this. It is blurbed in spectacular ways by some amazing sci-fi authors. And then I also got my pure cover buy. This is Witch Queen Rising by Savannah Stevens. This cover is so good. This cover is so good. This cover is so fucking good. Look at her. Okay, then Wool House Yarns. So I got a bunch of yarn. This is a 100% cotton yarn. It's like this orange kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what word I'm looking for. It's a burnt orange. So this is 100% cotton, and I bought 4 of them because I want to make a summer top. Cotton is going to be very light, so, and it was $10 a skein, so I snatched it up. It feels so nice. It, like, you can kind of see it kind of has this really beautiful sheen to it, so very excited to make a top with this. Then I bought 2 like fun dyed skeins. So this is Cascade Yarns Heritage 6 hand paints, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It has like all these like browns and reds and some like this beige kind of keeping it together, and with a tiny bit of greens and blues speckled throughout. So I thought that looked really cool. And then this, I think because of how many people were in there and handling all the yarns, some of the like hanks were coming apart, but we'll keep it together. So this is also Cascade Yarns Heritage 6. This is Berry Smoke. Oh, the other one, the first one, this one is Fiesta. And this is Berry Smoke, and you can see it's all reds and some purples, tiny bit of blues in there. So very excited for this one. I gotta be careful with this one because I need to make them into a cake, and I cannot let it get tangled up. So that was Woolhouse, that was Vroman's, that was Pasadena. Then I stopped in Monrovia. I stopped at Underdog Books, and there I bought To Shape a Dragon's Breath by Monocle Black Goose. So I've been hearing about this a lot. I know the second book is already out, but I finally pulled the trigger and bought it. Had their little passport, and I also bought a sticker, very cute, Read the Rainbow sticker, and their bookstore sticker from Underdog Books, To Shape a Dragon's Breath. And I love how floppy this book is. The floppiness is like, it's giving me life. I love floppy books. Okay, then to Claremont, where a brand new bookstore literally last weekend. This will make it weekend 3 that they're open. So I visited them for the first time last weekend. They're brand new. This is their little tote I bought then. And it's just a cute little new bookstore. They're heavily romance focused, but I was so excited. Last time they had all the Kate Daniels. They had almost all of the Mercy Thompson. So I am just going to slowly buy up all the Kate Daniels. I foresee a Kate Daniels reread in my future as I buy these up. So as of now, that makes this is books 3 and 4 out of 9. So very close to getting most of these collected. Okay, then in Claremont, I hit another yarn shop and another bookstore. Does that make 1, 2, 3, 4? That makes 5 bookstores. Okay, so the yarn shop, this is Phoebe's Needle Art in Claremont. So from there I bought this from Peekaboo Yarns. This is a 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. What is this called? This is called Chickaboom. So this is hand dyed. This is just fun. It is just so fun. So I don't know if you noticed a kind of color theming pattern going on in all the yarns I bought. So I know it looks absolutely ridiculous here, but like, I'm going to create some kind of patchwork granny square cardigan out of all of these, where I'm going to use the color hand dyed yarns as like the inside of the square, and then pick a like base color for the outside blocking and the ribbing. I don't know yet if that's going to be a like beige tan, a kind of linen color, or maybe if I'll go with like a kind of a dusty, maybe a royal blue, something like that. So I'm not sure. The pattern I'm going to use is called the Rose Cardigan by TL Yarn Crafts. I'm going to link that down below too. She does use like a deep blue in hers, and I kind of like what the deep blue looks like, but I'm going to need to do some squares, work up a bunch of squares, and then take the squares with me to see what kind of color I want to do for the border of all the squares and the ribbing, see what ties it all together. But yeah, I had a lot of fun yarn shopping. So I'm not buying any new yarn for a while. I'm not buying any new books for a while. Okay, then finally I visited, I always forget the actual name of the store. They're tied to like the Claremont Prisoner Project. So they're a used bookstore in Claremont where they provide books to people in prison. Today, nothing really caught my eye, except I did find a old used library copy, apparently, of Driftwood by Marie Brennan. So I am, like, literally, this is like a used library copy. I'm just gonna leave it as is. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll put some, like, washi tape over, you know, this just to cover it up a little bit, but it was $4, so who am I gonna, it's $4 and it's in really good condition. But yes, Driftwood by Marie Brennan. There's also a local collective that sets up a shop, and essentially it's just a bunch of small business owners in the area, local collective. They all have a little bit of space in this one space. Some of them have a couple of shelves, some of them have a whole bookshelf, some of them have 1 or 2 shelves, and it's just all kinds of things. So I went in, I saw jewelry, I saw mugs, I saw art, crochet plushies, but what I picked up today are these 2 bag charms. So this first one is Miffy with like a little kimono on. I love her. So this is going to be my new bag charm. And then I also picked up this Smisky bag charm because I have a friend who loves Smiskies, and that is so cute, so I'm going to give it to her. But yes, I ended my day picking out 2 very cute bag charms. That was my indie bookstore and LA yarn crawl haul. I am worn out. When I was done, I got some dim sum and boba and got home and immediately ate, and now I kind of just want to take a nap. It is pretty late on a Tuesday, but I just need to get this done, and I don't want to waste a good hair day. So this is going to be the wrap-up portion of this vlog, because I realized I've been editing it, and I realized I haven't actually talked about any books. I've showed you books I bought, but I haven't actually talked about books that I've been reading this month. First though, crochet update. I finished this sweater. Yes. It's another ombre sweater, so it's the ombre's green to like a light green. And yeah, it's the same as the burgundy one that I finished last. And I love it. I really do love this yarn, and I love making these sweaters. I love how they feel. Like, they're very light and airy, and the holes means that, you know, they let air flow, but you know, if I keep still, it's still warm. So yes. And it matches my new Frog and Toad shirt. So that is crochet update. I already have finished half of another sweater like this, not in the same yarn, in different yarn, but yeah, I'm just whipping them out. On to what I have read in April. We're in May already, which is crazy. So first thing that I finished in April was Molka by Monica Kim. This is a horror novel, essentially. It's set in South Korea, in Seoul, I believe, and it's about, Molka is a sexual crime where it's essentially women being spied on, but with secret cameras. The range of it goes from like cameras peeping in at women in toilets to women being filmed during sexual acts against their will. And a lot of this was inspired by real life sexual acts. It's actually has been a very highly prevalent crime in South Korea. The filming of women without their consent, in terms of like sexual intercourse, came from this really big scandal called the Burning Sun scandal. If I can find a good like explanation of everything, it was huge. It was massive years ago because it broke wide open because there were celebrities involved. There were K-pop idols involved. And it essentially was a group of men had a group chat where they would film themselves with women and share the videos. And a lot of the times those women could not consent, whether they were drunk or drugged. So it was pretty horrible. One of the largest K-pop groups of all time was affected by it because one of the members, he owned the club where a lot of the stuff was happening. So it was a huge deal. And so Monica Kim is drawing from those real life crimes and the real life ongoing criminal acts that are women being spied on, peeping toms being spied on, being filmed without their consent, and the imagery being shared. We follow Dahye, who is a worker, just an office worker, and she starts dating this chaebol, who is just a very rich a Nepo baby, essentially. He is the son of a massive multi-million, maybe $1 billion company. And so he's rich and spoiled, and she starts dating him. And as we follow them, you kind of see like it's just not a good relationship, but Dahlia doesn't see it. And then eventually video leaks of them having sex, and Dahlia had no idea that it was being filmed. And at first she thinks someone was spying on him to get to him or something. I think eventually she realizes that it was him. And then to compound that, on the other end of the spectrum, we have Junyoung, who is a worker, an IT worker at Dahia's company, and he spies on women in the toilets, and he becomes obsessed with Dahlia. So this poor woman is being violated in so many different ways, and the marketing for this wants you to believe this becomes like a tale of revenge and Dahlia like getting back at everybody, but that doesn't really happen until way too late in the book. And by that time, my investment of the book could rapidly dive off a cliff. And part of that is because we are in Junyoung's disgusting point of view for half the novel. And like, that is the point. And I don't mind being in the head of a disgusting character, but I don't know that being in his head specifically brought anything interesting to the table. I mean, it did give this other like extra dimension of the horror of how Dahlia is being violated on so many fronts, but as things whirl to their conclusion, I just don't know about his point of view needing to be there. And then also, this kind of wants to be like the horror. The main horror of it is the real life horror of what is being perpetrated on Dahlia. And there is a little bit too of like actual like, you know, spooky supernatural paranormal horror, but that it's creepy, and it doesn't really come into play until the very, like I said, the very end. And by then it just, there was one scene that was pretty great and very much like icky, but in a like get him kind of way. But also, other than like, yeah, you know, you go girl, I didn't have much investment. I give this 3 stars. I read it as an arc. I wish I was more involved and more like, I wish I cared more as essentially what it boils down to. So that was Molka. Decent. I think if you liked Monica Kim's first book, you'll probably like this a lot. I did not read The Eyes Are the Best Part, just because as much as like it interests me, eating eyeballs is just, it disgusts me too much. It's a little bit too far for me. All right, then also this was the month of 30 and 30, which is run by Shay, Izzy, Bree, and Ashley. I will link one of the like announcement videos down below. Essentially read 30 manga volumes in 30 days. Spoiler alert, I do not. And, you know, they have various challenges and stuff that you can do to expand that. So there is going to be a lot more manga this month than I usually have. So the first manga I read this month was Kaiju No. 8, Volume 1. This is a very popular series, and I've been wanting to read it for a very long time. I'm very glad I finally dipped into this. I really liked it. Essentially, it's kaiju have been attacking Tokyo, and there's a point where there's like a kaiju defense force, and our main character is an older guy. He's in his 30s, and he's always wanted to be on the defense force. And like the main figurehead for the force, the most popular person in the defense force, is someone he went to school with. We follow him and his new partner. He works in like the kaiju cleanup, like cleaning up the actual like disgusting meat of the kaiju after the kaiju is killed. And so he gets a new partner who's very young and also wants to try out for the defense force. And then one day during cleanup, he gets, I can't remember if he gets infected with a kaiju somehow, and he can change into a kaiju, but he has to keep it secret and only his partner knows. So at the end of the first volume, they're both trying out for the defense force, and I can't remember specifically if they get in this volume, but they get in. So he has to figure out how to use his kaiju powers to help fight other kaiju while keeping them a secret. I liked it. There was some really dumb comedy moments that I really enjoyed. It got to me. So when the humor gets me, then I tend to enjoy something a lot more, but I'm very interested in this and I will keep reading it. I read another Mercy Thompson. So Mercy Thompson number 10, this is Silence Fallen. This is one where Mercy is kidnapped by the basically the big head of the vampires that has been talked about a lot in the series, and she is basically out on her own, trying to survive on her own in Europe. This one, I think, which I'm starting to feel with a lot of these books, and why I'm taking a break. I read I read 11. It feels like so much of nothing happens during the book, and this one actually includes Adam's narration. I don't know if it's quite a dual narration, but it's Adam's narration, and I had to not. I couldn't do this on audio because I couldn't stand the guy who was narrating Adam's parts. Could not stand him. So I could not read this on audio. I eventually ended up reading it on ebook, and it was fine. It does expand the world a lot more, but like all the vampire politicking and all of that, I just well, there wasn't a big point to this one. Next manga I read was called Magical Girl Dandelion Volume 1. This is about a world where magical girls exist and they fight these shade things, and this young girl has for some reason had a shade be her like secret best friend for years, until the day it's found out that she's a magical girl herself. And it's fine. I wish I liked it more, but it just didn't hit me. The art is pretty decent. I just didn't find anything super interesting about this, unfortunately. Next, I read Hirayasumi Volume 1, and if you know anything about my manga reading habits, I love a slice of life. This was perfect. This is about an older, like late 20-something guy who just is chill. He lives life just as it is. I think he works at like a small lake where he's the guy who rents fishing rods to people. And he lives in this small house. I think Hirayasumi, I looked it up, it's a type of small house. And he was granted this house in the will of this old lady who lived there because he ended up befriending her, and they were really good friends until her death. And she granted him the house. And so he lives in it, and we deal a little bit with like his feelings, his grief a little bit. But then his much younger cousin, who's just turned 18 and is in Tokyo for I think it's college art school, she moves in with him because it's a good house to live in, and he's happy to have her give her space so she can go to school. And she is dealing with a lot of like upheaval, you know, what it's like to go from living at home with parents to all of a sudden like life and trying to make new friends in this new environment and how to, you know, deal with that. It's a really good slice of life of him, you know, the world dealing with the way he is, and his cousin, her dealing with, you know, growing and coming of age. And it's just really cute. It's such a good slice of life. The art is really good. It's really sweet, and I loved it a lot. I already have volumes 2 and 3 from the library, and I think there's like up to 7 or 8 volumes, so I am going to be tearing through those. Oh, that was 5 stars. The Mercy Thompson was 2.5 stars. Magical Girl Dandelion was 3 stars. Hirayasumi was 5 stars. And another 5 star, this is a manhwa. This is Beware the Villainess, Volume 1 and 2 and 3, I'll just say right now. I loved this. So the other villainous isekai that I love is My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom. I love that one so much. I love Katherine in that one. And in this one, it's giving the same. But I think this is a lot more tongue-in-cheek. It's a lot funnier in a different way, but it's still funny. And it's a villainous isekai, and it hits me exactly where my humor lives. So I read 3 volumes of it this month, and I am continuing to read as much as I can. I don't know that I will read it on like whatever webtoon app it's on, but whatever volumes are in physical volume that I can get from my library, like I said, already read 3 of them. I loved it. It was so good. Next, I read Yan, Volume 1 by Chang Sheng. This is, I can't remember. I don't know if he's Taiwanese, maybe. This is a weird one. So the art is fantastic. Like, this cover is amazing, and the art is reminiscent of this. This is essentially about this young woman who is in like a theater troupe who puts on these shows of like this like historical China. One day something happens and the entire troupe is killed, and the murders are put on her. She gets sent away to a mental institution, and then at some point that mental institution like blows up or is destroyed and people think she's dead. But then 10 years later, this mysterious figure pops up and murders someone on a live stream. and it's her, but it can't be her because she looks exactly the same as she did like 10, 15 years ago. So so like there's a mystery of where she came from, what is going on, and uh I liked that setup, but so much of this like relied on so many tropes. Like there's the retired detective who was part of like her original case, was like didn't quite accept the truth, and he's the only one who may accept the truth and is curious and is going to follow her and figure things out. And then somehow it turns into like other people have weird powers too, and then it seems like it's kind of turning into some kind of like superhero thing by the end. I don't know, it was weird. I wasn't sure where this was going, and I gave it 3 stars. I may try the second volume just to see where it's going because this was bizarre. But I don't know. I'm not sure about this one. Next, I read Mary Sue by Megan Fitzmartin. I believe this has come out already in like individual comic form, but I read this as an arc for the trade paperback. The full like trade paperback is going to come out August 2026. So I read this as an arc. This is a story about a teenage girl who writes fanfic about this fake show, which I feel like it's kind of like Sherlock and Buffy and Supernatural all rolled into one. So, but she writes fanfic, and one day the Mary Sue that's in all her fanfics comes to life in her real life. And she has to figure out what to do about that. And then also she's dealing with the breakup of a friendship that she had with her best friend over like something she said about fanfic in like school or something like that. It is a love letter to Mary Sue's. It is a love letter to fanfic, to fandom, to those of us who found friendship online, who found connections online, who found solace and joy in fandom and the things we watched, and connecting with people in that way, connecting with art in that way. But I don't know why this had to be a high schooler. I would have liked this a lot more if it was a lot more mature. It just felt so YA in like a detrimental way to me. I don't know why this story had to be YA, because it's not just teenagers who fall in love with art like this and find escape and solace in fandom like this. So I don't know, it was a weird one. I gave it 3 stars. The art was really, really, really good. Very colorful, poppy, good action. The story was weird, and I just don't know why this had to be teenagers. Yeah. Okay, moving on. I read The Decagon House Murders by Yukito Ayotsuji. This is the first in the Bizarre House Mysteries series. This was fun. It was basically a play on the isolated closed circle mystery. And this Japanese author very much loves Golden Age detectives. Each of the main characters who are part of this, like, they go to this island. They're cut off for like a week, and it's basically and then there were none. And each character, they're like they're in college and they're part of a mystery club, book club, and each of them are named after a major mystery writer. So we have Christie, we have Orksey, we have Doyle. So it's a love letter to that in a meta way. It was good. It was a good mystery. I don't know that I really connected with it the way I wanted to. Like, it was a good time reading it, but I wasn't very excited by all of it. The ending, the reveal of what was going on, that was good. I liked that a lot. I do own the next 2 books in this series, and I will happily read on. Next, I read Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz, and I'm happy to say that this is the first Annalee Newitz book that I have actually finished. I have DNF'd 2 of their books in the past. This is a story, a near future story where some robots who used to work at this food shop wake up after some time has passed, after the store shut down, and they just they run the store, and they register an LLC, and they figure out that what they want to make are noodles, hand-pulled noodles, byung byung noodles. I gave this 3.5. Annalee Newitz has great ideas. Like the terraformers, I wanted to like that so much because I loved the idea, but I just couldn't click with it. And there was one It was like a time travel one, and punk rock music was a big part of it. That one I DNF pretty quickly. Uh, there's something about the writing that doesn't quite like click with me. This one it did a lot more, but I feel like this one, it's so obviously wants to be like Becky Chambers' Monk and Robot. Like it just so obviously wants to be cozy sci-fi, and it is, but it's kind of like I can see that it so obviously wants to be cozy sci-fi, if that makes any sense. The characters were good. It felt, I could see the author writing this, if that makes sense. I didn't feel like I was like lost in the world. Could always tell I was reading a book, if that makes sense. So like it wasn't bad. I liked a lot of the ideas. Loved the idea of California becoming its own country. The robots dealing with their feelings on, well, feelings in the first place. And there's so many details. The world building is so cool and realized. Like that's, like I said, Anna Lee Lenowitz has amazing ideas. So I think this is going to be a big hit with people if it reaches the right audience, which I think it will soon because it's being nominated across most sci-fi speculative awards already. I think it's in the Hugos. I think it's in the Nebulas. So it's getting recognition. And I think a lot more people are going to read it for that. And I think it's going to find its audience and it's going to soar. So I wish I'd liked it more, but I am happy to say I read a full Anna Lee Lenowitz book and I liked it. Okay, next I read Crash Test by Amy James. I know I said I would not read another Formula One romance after I read Pole Position, which I will forever dunk on because it was stupid. But Crash Test kind of intrigued me a little because this actually is about a Formula One and a Formula Two driver who has been secretly together for like a year. And the Formula Two driver is in a very horrific crash and nobody knows that they're dating. We have Travis as the Formula One driver and Jacob is the Formula Two driver who's in the crash. The book is essentially in 3 parts. We have Travis first dealing with the crash happening and then dealing with having to see Jacob in a way where he can actually see him because nobody knows that they're even friends or that they even know each other like that. The second part is Jacob dealing with the aftermath of the crash and his horrible family. And then the third part ping pongs back and forth between them and the resolution of everything. When I started reading this, I read it in 2 chunks. I ate it up because this felt so much like fanfic angst. This is hurt comfort fic to the max. Absolutely. This is the kind of thing where it's like you want a dose of angst right in the vein. This is what you want. Was it good? The main issue I had here, and this I think, like I would not be shocked if this was fanfic. I would not be shocked if this was fanfic because the way this is set up, you get them after the crash. You don't get to see their romance. You don't get to see them together. And yes, there are flashbacks, but it's not like it's not enough for me to feel connected to the two of them as a romantic couple. The angst was there, but I don't know. Like I felt the angst, but also, and I ate it up, but I also didn't care, which is a very weird way to feel. And I think that's because I don't really know Travis and Jacob as characters and as romantic partners before we know them as Travis with his angst and Jacob after, with the crash and everything going on with him. It feels like there's a lot more to these characters, that you would get a lot more out of this if this was fanfic because you would have the idea of who the characters were already in place, which is part of why I feel like this was fanfic. There was a baseline understanding of who these characters were, and you take that away and you're left with this scaffolding of a story, and it feels hollow because I don't feel like I got that core of who Travis was, who Jacob was, and their romance. I got the aftermath of the crash and the angst, and like, yeah, that was good to read up, but like, I hope that's coming across. I'm not saying this was fanfic first. I don't know that it was, but I would not be surprised if those were the origins of this story. Also, Jacob did not grovel enough. Not even close. Not even fucking close. Travis went through so much shit, and Jacob, yes, is going through shit, but he did not grovel enough. And the way they got back together was so stupid. There was stupid miscommunication. It was dumb how fast they got back together with no issues. My hot take here is that Travis should have stayed single. He should not have gotten back with Jacob. He should have stayed single and continued on his journey of self-actualization and self-realization and just continued that, been his own man. I think he should have done that because Jacob's storyline felt way too short in comparison to Travis. And Jacob's dealing with a lot more. He's dealing with a pretty homophobic family. And Jacob goes to therapy, and he literally goes to like 4 therapy sessions, and like he's great now, and he gets to tell off his family, and it just felt like a fantasy catharsis more than anything. Jacob sucked. Yeah, Jacob sucked. Travis should have stayed single. And how about that? Like, how do I feel that at the end of a romance novel, you know? So, meh. I think this could have gone a little longer. With them finding their way back to each other, I think, especially because of how traumatic the way they're separated is. Like, it's pretty fucking traumatic, and for Jacob to just waltz in like that and for them to get back together so quickly, no. Travis should have stayed single. As far as the F1 aspects of this, compared to Pole Position, which like I said, I'm always going to dunk on Pole Position, the F1 aspects here were done really well. There wasn't a lot of the racing or anything like that, but from the way things are written, the pacing of the season and everything, that made sense. Like, this author knows Formula One and is writing it in a way that makes sense. So I appreciated that a lot. Moving on, what did I read next? Volume 2 and 3 of Beware of the Villainess. Mercy Thompson, number 11, Storm Cursed. I gave this 3.5, although looking back, probably going to dunk that down to a 3 or a 2.5. Again, this is a whole lot of nothing. Stuff changes. Like, some characters die, stuff changes. Okay, if I had a weird cut there, it's because my boss called me. Yes, I picked up the phone. Where was I? Mercy Thompson, number 11, Storm Cursed. I'm pausing here for a little bit. I'm pausing here. Okay, the last thing I finished was in May, so that's not going to count at all. That is everything I read in April. Hope you enjoyed this vlog. Hope you enjoyed my wrap up. Let me know what the best thing was that you read this month. Let me know what you thought of what I read. And thank you for watching, as always. I'll catch you next time. Bye.